Okay, I don't like to throw people under the bus. You know what I mean?
And that sounds like a person that is about to throw somebody under the bus.
Facts. Wrong one. There it is. Look, you know me. I'm not someone who calls people out. I say, do as you do.
I do.
Just listen. I'll get to it. I'll get to
What
it.
are you lying? What are you lying to me for?
I don't like to be like, yo, look at this guy doing it wrong. You know, that's just not my personality.
It's never been,
but
never will be.
In particular, not with friends, you know?
Okay, that's right.
But in this person, I feel like I'm not speaking out of school. You know what I mean? This person is practically the third microphone on the show. When one of us can't be here, this is top of the list replacement.
Right.
Bro, sixth man, if you will. Okay? The 12th person on the bench, the super sub. Okay, Christine Cupo.
A legend of Cooligans lore. Part of the story.
People love her. To this day, we still get messages, no Cupo, no party, on clips that she's not in. People love
That's
Coop.
right. Yeah, and that particular guy, it's the same guy.
Yeah,
I'm like, all right.
And by the way,
she has a fan.
Also, check the rest of his search history. It's important. But I had the luxury of hanging out with some of the CBS folks to go watch the Arsenal game. Cupo's there, right? This photo taken by the one, the only Ali Trostmart.
That's right, and we're looking at it now, and it's clearly
it's a bucket. So we went to Blondie's. Blondie's, I still think, has the best wings in all of New York City.
We've been there together, yeah.
When we get there, Cupo starts off not on a great tone. She goes, I'm a very picky eater. And I was like, you know what? Why don't you sit somewhere else? We're going to get, the 10 wings is a minimum order. So we're like, let's get 2 or 3 orders, right?
Yeah.
So Cupo goes, I need my wings fried super hard. There can't be anything gooey in it. And I was like, I don't even know what gooey is in a wing to begin with.
That reminds me of the skit from the Fugees album. Remember? I need my wings fried hard. Remember?
Oh my God! Now I do.
This is like 30 years ago.
That's Fuji La. I think it's what you're talking about.
I need my wings fried hard.
Yo, by the way, Fuji's from Newark. Shouts to Fuji's. But Cupo, not one of the Fugees, said, I need it fried. And I go, oh no, these aren't breaded. Yeah. And they're triple fried. So they come ready to go. They are, trust me, lovely. And she goes, okay. She goes, because I love wings, but they got to be fried extra hard. I said, buddy, they're coming fried hard. So we get some hot wings over on her side, as you can see. I put these little buckets out for you to throw your bones in. And now I'm not paying attention. I'm watching Arsenal, right? And at one point, I go to throw a bone in. And I was like, oh, I think my blue cheese might have fallen in because I had the blue cheese on my plate. So I flip over the bucket to see, did I do that? Turns out, no, the blue cheese was in front of me. But what I saw in the bucket horrified me.
And yes, we're looking at it right now.
Can we show the photo? This is, I'm like, yo, you ate max a third of each of these wings and threw them in the bucket. And it's almost like you're hiding evidence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Cupo looks at me and goes, what? I tried my best. Those were word for word. As if, and she, by the way, she said the wings were great. There's exactly how she likes them. I go, so this is you eating wings you like? And she said, yeah.
Because the picture's a little bit blurry.
No, but if you didn't know.
But it looks like a full bucket of chicken.
That's what I'm saying. So the picture's a little bit blurry. But if I would have showed you that, you would have said, no one has eaten those wings yet. Why were they delivered in a bucket?
Sure, yeah. Also, I think the guy that constantly comments for Cupo on the show will probably eat the rest of these wings.
Oh, my God. First of all, by the way, that guy who comments, I took them with me. If you want to buy them, $1,000 a wing.
Okay, let's monetize this obsession a little bit.
All right. You want a party? Buddy, you're about to have one. So I'm just looking at this and I think this, by the way, I posted this on my stories.
Yeah.
And the reactions have been, I expected better from Coop.
We got to...
this should be illegal. Criminal was a word that has been repeated in my DMs.
Yeah, for our audio listeners, this
y'all want you to break this down.
I mean,
what do you see here in these wings?
I mean, I it looks like, you know, a little kid that doesn't want to finish their food. You know what I mean?
How many bites would you suggest were taken out of this wing? Each.
I mean, let me zoom in a little bit. This is something.
The one on the left, pretty good job, right? That's
yeah,
like
the
a
one
bone.
on the left looks like pretty. Again, we're looking at. It's like the Zapruder film.
yeah.
It's a little blurry. It's hard to tell exactly what is what. But in the middle,
Everything else.
They look like two, you just, you didn't finish your meal. You didn't, or you tried it and you didn't like it or something along those lines. I mean,
thought,
a lot of meat on there.
There's so much meat, bro. Like the one on the left, I think actually was my bone. I'm not making that up.
Okay. So
I think the one on the left is my bone.
The communal bucket. It wasn't just her bucket.
No, there was a couple buckets out.
Got it.
That's why I was like, oh, let me throw and it turns out I didn't throw the blue cheese. It was just the bone. So I think the one on the left, that's your boys. I cleaned that thing clean. There's nothing left on it. Everything else, it looks like one bite was taken of each wing, and she was like, and that's the end of that wing. I am floored. I'm like, you know what? Look, Arsenal won, so this entire group needs to get back together and go to this bar. The one main difference, Cupo got to sit over there by herself, so we can't see the atrocity.
She needs a high chair.
Yeah. And look, have you ever seen the number? High chair, it's hilarious. She got a little bib on. The one with the cup at the bottom, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
that catches the food. You're at that.
Mateo has
yeah. It's just full wings in there. What'd you do? Just lick the sauce off? That guy who comments is really into what we're saying right now. Fine, everything stays the same except you got to go over there. We got to build a little partition or something.
Okay,
we can't see this atrocity. Have you ever seen that thing of like which number are you? It's like a wing being eaten. One this wing, barely a bite taken,
sure.
to like skinned, Frenched.
Or
just a clean
eating
bone.
the actual bone.
Yeah. I'm usually a 9 or a 10.
All right.
I get in there. I'm
Okay.
snapping cartilage off this thing.
That's literally the only time in Alexis's life he's been called a 9 or a 10.
Clearly, you don't remember when I was the vice president of the modeling club.
Being the vice president doesn't mean you're like, they
don't vote sixes as vice president. You, the secretary or the treasurer. Everybody knows that treasurer ass.
All right. Well, congrats to Arsenal.
Let us know. Put a number in the comments if you are. Well, I guess tweet at us.
We're gonna have to probably put this on YouTube also. I don't know any other way.
Or you know what? No, we'll put it on our Patreon. We'll put it on Patreon.
On Patreon. Feel free to patreon.com/soccercooligans.
Comment below what number you are on a scale of 1 to 10. How much do you clean that bone?
The discourse. Let us know how you feel about this. About the Wingate. For Christine
you see Cupo walking a wing shop. You need to walk out.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the Cooligans, everybody. My name is Christian Polanco.
Hey, I'm Alexis Guerreros.
And outside of Alexis or Cupo ruining what could have been a completely joyous experience with Arsenal. Alexis is still quite happy about that result in the Champions League. We're gonna get to all of it. Where do we even begin?
Well, let's just say this because this is impressive. Okay, this guy is the first player to score 2 direct free kick goals in the Champions League ever. No, obviously this year.
Yeah.
Precision, bruh. And I'm reading that straight off the Joe. Absolutely incredible. Had not scored a free kick all season long. Scores 2 against Real Madrid at home for Arsenal. Declan Rice carries Arsenal on his back to victory against Real Madrid. And that is why this is our top topic.
Let's go. So, Arsenal, they do it. We didn't think.
What are you talking about? We had this dead to rights. We said back in the last episode, you could play it. Watch.
Play the clip. Arsenal, Real Madrid. My first thought immediately has to be Real Madrid. This should be a breeze. Is maybe not the word because Arsenal
a little disrespectful.
Arsenal are at home.
Yeah.
Real Madrid are going to try. I mean, Arsenal.
Well, this is the whole thing, right? So Arsenal starting the first match at home. Second leg, I also don't think they stand much of a chance, but I do think they draw the second match.
Mbappe is looking like the star we thought he would be when he first got to Real Madrid. He's really looking sharp. This should be fairly routine for Real Madrid unless something crazy happens. If Arsenal can win this tie in some way, I think that would be one of the biggest upsets in Champions League history.
Okay, now see what I'm talking about?
Exactly.
If you just waited long enough, we got to it, right? Christian saw the vision, bro.
Arsenal, first leg, quarterfinal, Champions League, win 3-0. The result in itself.
If I would have said Arsenal are going to win 3-0, you would have laughed in my face.
I would have been like, thank you I'm glad I am working with such a esteemed and established comedian that tells incredible jokes.
This kid's writing.
And we started this podcast and I'm like, I didn't realize I was working with such a comedic genius.
Damn, bro.
So I'm like, yo, this bit is hilarious.
This whole time you thought Carrot Top. It turns out George Carlin.
You are creating a world, and I see you building it.
I'm bringing you into my world is what I'm doing.
All right. My man is doing Minecraft, building the world for us.
100%. Also, we need to do drug testing on this show. If I would have said 3-0 is crazy. I'm an Arsenal fan, and even I said, bruh, we're going to give it a try. But with Kivior, a teenager on a back line, when you've got, Marino starting at a striker, clearly not a striker, I just said to myself, even Saka starting, I think was a bit of a surprise, but I assumed Saka would be coming off the bench. I thought, you know what? This just feels like this is Real Madrid's competition, man. They've won it more than anyone else.
Yeah.
You saw what they were able to do last season. They've gotten only stronger with Mbappe. This feels like, all right, this isn't really the time for Arsenal. They've had a pretty rough season, and I would still say still a bad season in comparison.
But more than anything.
And then all of a sudden.
And that's because we watched the Cooligans Clásico the week, a couple days prior, and Arsenal were struggling to get. And we have the jokes about Everton and bottom of the table, and why did you pick this team? And I'm like, that 1-1 result is why I picked this team, because it's a gritty team. They make things
tough
difficult.
To beat.
They're tough to beat.
I thought Real Madrid would be a little bit tougher than Everton.
And that's how we know that based on,
if you do the math,
Everton are therefore a better team than Real Madrid. I'm like, that's just facts. That's not even opinion.
All I'm saying is there's evidence to suggest what you just said is true. If you disagree, you might need to let us know. Now, I would suggest starting with 15 Champions League trophies. But nonetheless, you fill in the blanks,
Forget all that.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Okay, this is recency bias
100%. Are we talking about right now today?
You're talking about old stuff. Nobody remembers that stuff.
Tarkowski better than Mbappe.
we all know that. This is not even a controversial opinion.
Nah, bro. There's facts.
So because Arsenal were basically doing the same thing that they were doing against Everton, against Real Madrid, that they did with Everton, really most of the game happens on the right side of the pitch between Odegaard, between Saliba, Odegaard, Timber, and Saka. We all know. And then if it's on the left side, it's Martinelli.
Please run at somebody, Martinelli.
And get some crosses in at the very least, right? Yeah. So we know the game.
Or it's Trossard maybe doing a little something fancy, trying to get to the touchline,
right?
Or passing it back.
And we know early in the season, it was set piece FC. This is why we're going to get our goals.
Nothing wrong with that.
And whatever. Gabriel Magalhaes getting, as many goals as
Arsenal have scored 21 from set pieces, not including penalties. That's pretty great.
So that's remarkable. That's incredible. So we all sort of expected, we knew sort of what to expect from Arsenal. And because especially in the last few weeks, where the Premier League has looked much more out of reach, whereas like the league is done. The injuries and just the motivation. Where's that gonna come from?
Mm-hmm.
And this game, and I think we all saw the reactions to the Declan Rice free kicks, not even from fans, from the Real Madrid players. The images of Mbappe
being like, "Dang!" But the last time he looked like that was at St. James Park. Remember they lost to Newcastle? I think it was 4-0. They lost to Newcastle early on in the Champions League.
Yeah, and
Mbappe was like, "Well, damn," And that's the last time I saw his face look like that, where he was just really confused. And by the way, me too. This guy never scored a direct free kick
in his career.
Ever.
It's something like
300 and something matches, 300 plus games.
And to never have scored one,
to get the chance to kick it.
To get the even opportunity where your team, the rest of your team is like, yeah,
I need a 30 for 30 on the decision to let him take it because he strikes it beautifully.
Well,
by the way,
I don't know if you saw the post game comments from Arteta, and
they literally most of the time they cut it in clips. They show the whole thing, and they watch the whole thing.
And he was saying about the conversations that he's had with Declan Rice at the beginning of the season, and how much more contribution that he wants to make, and how much because when we all think of Declan Rice, I think we just see him as this defensive midfielder. But since he's been at Arsenal, he's definitely contributed with goals and just more of an important part of the build.
Yeah.
So not
the way Arteta uses him versus the way he was at West Ham means he needs to be more influential in the final third.
Sure. And then to have a player like Partey, who also, there's a lot of controversy around him, but he had a great game.
He did have a great game. He's had a great few games. He's playing for a contract. He's no dummy.
So to have Thomas Partey on the pitch with Declan Rice, and Declan Rice obviously is more of an 8 instead of a 6.
Yeah, so it's like, and now you got to go forward. You got to go do something up there.
And this was just a combination of every Arsenal player playing remarkably. Like, no errors, no real, no lack of confidence.
Kivior, can we talk about defensively? Do you know what Real Madrid's XG was at the end of the match?
I don't. But
if you had don't click on it. If you had a guess, what do you think it would be?
There actually had to be under. I mean, Mbappe had that incredible chance. It had to be under 2.
It was 0.5.
No.
0.5.
So okay,
how crazy is that?
That is kind of wild. But I mean, the Mbappe chance seemed like it would be a bit higher than that.
Clearly, that was it. 0.5. Yeah. They had 3 shots on target total. I am floored at how good defensively. Because here's what it is. Real Madrid are going to give you the ball and say, go ahead. And the moment you slip up, and Arsenal do commit a lot of numbers forward. So the moment you slip up, they're going to hit you on the counter. And they're vicious on that counter. But Arsenal had a way of sort of not just maintaining a lot of the momentum, but understanding, all right, here it comes, and what to do. They would send players back. I don't know if you noticed, Declan Rice would come back, Odegaard would come back. So they'd almost build up with like 6 or 7 players defensively, right? And then they would sort of move the ball forward as opposed to trying to find someone in open space and sort of start to crowd. And if you're going to try to defend them with a 4-4-2, you're going to be easy to pick apart. You're going to be really easy to pick apart. And I think you saw that. The most difficult part was getting into that final third. The first half was back and forth and back and forth. It seemed like it was a midfield match. You know what I mean? It seemed like it wasn't. I'm like, this is a tennis game, bro. This sucks. Yeah. And then that second half completely ripped them apart.
Look, we have to give credit. Because there's something to the free kicks were remarkable, and it's just they're 2 individual plays that are so like I don't want it to.
What do they say? It's goals from another match. They sometimes say it's like this came out of nowhere.
Right. There's something to Arsenal are not going to do that every game, right?
All right, well, slow down. You won't know that.
So I just want to I'm trying to sort of balance the this is what an incredible victory, and then did Arsenal actually play well? Like, you take away the free kicks, if it's a 1-1, I'm not saying that they didn't. I'm just saying that it would have been great to also see some a few
goals
more
from the run of play. Which Marino did,
and Courtois gave up 3 goals. Could have been man of the match.
Still looked incredible.
He was still incredible. So the look, Ken, and I only say this to not to be a wet blanket, but how confident or where should Arsenal's confidence be going into the second leg?
Take out the 2 free kicks, Arsenal still win 1-0. With a goal from the run of play.
Yeah.
And without Camavinga going into the second match, that certainly helps, I think, Arsenal. He got a red card.
He was with the yellow. He was already out.
Yeah, he was already out. Yeah. But second yellow, so he's definitely out. I'm as an Arsenal fan, I'm not gonna say I'm confident because we've seen this happen to other teams where one quick goal, all of a sudden it's 2-0.
Yeah,
and that's not that hard of a hill to climb or a hurdle to clear. But I will say, because they kept them at 0.5, I'm walking into this other match thinking Arsenal have a chance. Not just
Arsenal,
Arsenal,
than a chance,
but not
yeah.
just Arsenal have a chance. I think Arsenal have a chance. I think the leverage is on Arsenal's side. I think if it's 1-0, I think if it's 2-0, I still say I think advantage still is with Real Madrid. They're about to go home. They're going to go to Santiago Bernabeu. It's going to be the atmosphere is going to be lit. This is where they play. They're going to have the advantage, even if they're down 1 or 2-0. That third goal gives it that little extra bit. Where if Arsenal happen to score one, a set piece, maybe it's a free kick, maybe it's a corner, that immediately throws the leverage all the way back on Arsenal's side.
Yeah.
It makes that hurdle so much larger. So personally, I think Real Madrid, to me, it still feels a little 50-50 because it's Real Madrid going home.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to say it's 55-45 Arsenal.
I love, even some Arsenal fans would be like, why are you bragging?
Bro,
show some humility.
I said they would lose, but they would draw, right?
Yeah.
So maybe I got that second one right, bro.
This is a, it's something.
This goes down as a historic victory.
Yeah, and I want to get to that because what Declan Rice did and those 2 free kicks, I think they did something bigger than just like Arsenal fans being happy about the victory, right? Because it was really how we're never going to beat these giants that are around Madrid. Right. We see how many injuries we have.
Arsenal having a lackluster season, even though they were second place, it still feels lackluster. So again, you talk about Everton going into this, you're like, ugh,
exactly,
yeah.
So but what Declan Rice did, those 2 free kicks were. I mean, beautiful is not even a good enough word, or it doesn't have the gravitas to explain how impactful those 2 free kicks were. The first one, the bend on it, crazy.
Roberto Carlos-esque.
I wouldn't say it didn't have the same bend. It wasn't as absurd.
It went like maybe 2 feet outside the line of the far post.
Instead of like 4 or 5, right?
Yeah. So it didn't have the crazy run up either.
For a player that has never scored one, you're like, why hasn't he taken?
Yeah.
He should be taking it for England. Why is he taking it? This is crazy.
Everybody on notice now.
So
when he went to take the second one, I was like, you got to let him do it. Maybe he's on a heater. Nowhere in my mind did I think he's going to put this in the most picturesque top bins. I mean, you literally, I think you could get a playing card in between the ball and the post and the crossbar, and that's about it. It's as perfectly placed.
Yeah. I mean, when you see it in slow-mo and you see it zoomed in, it is so close to the post and the crossbar, and just so perfectly under it.
It kisses it.
You know, and they always say like, you couldn't have put it. It couldn't have been better placement. Yeah. And that
photo will be the definition of that.
And it's usually like, it's just a turn of phrase, and you can just kind of say it when it's a really good hit. But this was literally almost mathematically.
Yeah.
You couldn't have placed it any better.
You know those like sometimes it'll be like accounts where they show like things perfectly fitting into other things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Like a ball will go directly into a hole. And it fits perfectly. And you're like, there's something about it where like people with like ADD find a lot of relief in that.
Yeah. It's like those satisfying sort of like TikTok accounts or whatever.
For some reason, there's a weird tension before the thing goes on the hook, but it perfectly is placed in it. That's one of them.
Yeah. And I think what it also did, watching the reactions to those 2 free kicks, I'm watching all the live streamers, right? I'm watching Expressions and Kev, what is it, a comedian or with Flex, the guy who does the KG. Rory.
How many oh my days did you hear?
But there was something to the guys that would be haters of Arsenal.
Yeah,
were. Even after the first one, they were like, oh, he's not going to make the second one, right? And then you see, and everybody's like, Rory had a clip where he was just like, if he makes the second one, I'm going home. And then he's still there for the rest of the stream.
Yeah. Come on, Rory. Have some integrity.
Are you a man of your word or not?
Well, we know. I love you, Rory. Well, not love, but whatever. But you watched a historic moment. You knew you were watching history.
And there was something to even the tribalism and hate that happened.
That curtain gets opened a little bit.
For a second, everybody was like, this is my English lad, Declan Rice, doing that. People calling him Beckham Rice and whatever. And it was just something where my TikTok has been crazy. Where I'm seeing people in London. I don't have it pulled up, but there was this girl on TikTok that was saying she was like, I don't watch football. But what's happening in London? All the men are joyful and happy. And she was like, whatever Arsenal did, please just do it again. Because
this is the reverse of the toxicity of football in England.
This is what fixes men. You
know?
Declan
Rice. I always said rice will make you feel better.
Okay. Arroz,
bro.
Resuelve todo.
Yo me siento un poquito más feliz, bro.
So this was again, and I think that is I think it's partly not that people can put away their hatred of Arsenal. It's that they know that the giants of Real Madrid, and they know Vinny and Mbappe and the 15 Champions League. So they know. So there's a little bit of like, I hate Arsenal, but I gotta respect what they just did.
You can't knock this. Even Tottenham fans.
Yeah.
All right. As much as I'm a huge fan of Anne Hathaway. I don't care what I said on the show before. I am a massive. I'm a massive fan.
Hathaway. I gotta pull this clip up because Anne Hathaway. When I've been seeing her sing and what's it, North London Forever. Yeah,
when she says she's an Arsenal fan, I almost don't want to say gooner because the term is taken on a different definition in the last few years. But when Anne Hathaway says she's an Arsenal fan and that she loves Trossard, part of me was like, maybe she's capping a little bit.
London forever.
Bro, this is obnoxious and I love it.
So I'm watching this.
The group chat's going off.
Let's go.
I need to get in this Anne Hathaway Arsenal group chat.
Anne Hathaway. Well, what was it? 3 years ago, 4 years ago? You went on the whole rant about how
I said she's the most boring human being.
The worst.
Bro, wipe that off the books, bro.
Find the clip, somebody.
No, nobody find those clips. We will be deleting them.
Bro, she might be the most boring human being I've ever come across.
I don't agree with this Anne Hathaway slander. She's getting targeted for no reason, bro.
I was watching this, and a lot of the comments are like, "This is so cringe. How the hell? Like, I can't watch this." And then
this is what Tottenham fans have started to hate because they can't hate Declan Rice, so they've started attaching themselves to this.
But I'm watching this like, yo, Anne Hathaway, you should have revealed your red and white colors years ago.
But she did. She's been talking about this for like about a year now. It's been open. She was doing a press junket.
Yeah,
she went when Arsenal scored. So I was like, wait a minute.
And she had the little flirty back and forth with Trossard.
So part of me was like, nah, she's capping, bro. She's not really.
Part of me was like, if you're flirting with Trossard, you are an Arsenal fan through and through.
Part of me, she's been in the game long enough where I'm like, she might be one of the producers of this movie. She's trying to find a way to draw.
Got it,
you know what I mean?
I'm
trying to play chess, not checkers.
Yeah, be skeptical. This is I love this. You can't just come in here and be all phony.
But this checkmate, bro. Anne Hathaway, the most exciting actress of our generation.
Man of the game, I agree, Mom.
What did she say? She was talking about Declan Rice?
Is the man of the game, I agree, Mom.
Mom in the group chat.
Mom in the group chat. Also, man of the game, bro. I love you. Be America, bro.
Yo, bro, shout out to Anne Hathaway, who for a while there was like a smear campaign where I don't even really like Anne Hathaway like that, but I don't hate Anne Hathaway. I'm like, where did this come from?
I've loved it from day one.
All right, you were affected. You were influenced by whatever
I allowed
Hollywood producer that was trying to blacklist her.
I allowed the industry planted smear campaign to affect my vision. Normally I'm on point, so I want to say your boy's back. Anne Hathaway gets a pass. I also just want to say, as two comedians, can we just talk about sometimes the universe hands you something where you're like, this is done. I don't need to make the joke. You know what I mean?
Sure.
That you did this for me. Can we talk about a Spanish team being beaten by a guy named Rice? Do you know how much that got to hurt?
Yeah,
bro.
I had seen already a few memes of
people being scared of eating rice. This is like if
you had posted this.
Yo, put them in a rice cooker, bro. It took me too long to make that at the bar, by the way. It looks very simple. It was a lot. Also, the same rice cooker I have, which is why I picked it.
Lovely.
Shouts to Zoshi Rushi, bro. Get the ones made in Japan, by the way. Don't get the ones made in China. Get the ones made in Japan. They don't have the PFAs in it.
All right.
Whatchamacallit, you pay a little more, but it's worth it.
Alexis is like, yeah, he don't mess with microplastics, bro.
Nah. I mean, I just drink water out of plastic all day. But yo, I put that up. But this being beaten by Rice, it's crazy. It's like if a Jamaican national team got beat by somebody named like Bobby Jerk Chicken. You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah, that would be devastating.
The judge that puts Diddy away is called like, the Honorable Judge Baby Oil. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's fun. It's historic. It is again one of those times and stories in Champions League where it's just. It's David beating Goliath, and that's why
it doesn't feel like David beating Goliath. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like Arsenal's David. I agree that. If this isn't like Leicester beating,
if Gabriel Jesus, Magalhaes, Havertz, and they're all back full squad, okay, not David Goliath. I think it's all the adversity that Arsenal has had to deal with.
The position they were in, you could have easily understood them losing 3-0.
Exactly, and then
to win 3-0 is like what? And the fashion.
Oh, okay.
The fashion the way they did it, in which they did it.
Did somebody have some dope fit? Or?
Yeah, the fit was crazy. Forget the game, bro. Declan Rice won on the catwalk. No, the fashion in which they did it. I don't even know. I was like speechless. I'm like, I don't even think I have to talk about this game on Cooligans. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, it's like, this is like, I knew we would agree off the bat. Like, It's everything that needs to be said is being said.
There's no real controversy. I mean, I did love, my TikTok was also showing me the devastated Real Madrid fans. Which
kind of feels good as a Latino.
I gotta
as a Caribbean Latino.
Reach out to these guys. Good. There's a duo called Los Futbolitos, which is they're in Spain. Okay, but one of the guys is Dominican, so he's from DR, lives in Spain, and he's a diehard Real Madrid fan.
We gotta get these guys on.
Yeah, he was like really, really dope. I really like their channel. They're very popular in Spain. But
are they podcasts? Are they streamers?
I think they're streamers. But he's a diehard Real Madrid fan. And he's like, after the second goal, he was like, Ancelotti, vete de acá, vete de mi club, or whatever. And he's just, which is just a shocking sentiment, right? You just won Champions League last year.
They're losing La Liga, bro.
And now it's like, yo, get out of my club. That's a strange extreme to me.
It's Real Madrid.
But if that's the standard, then that's the standard. I get it.
In fact, I'm willing to put an olive branch out. You know what, Ancelotti, you get sacked? Come be our assistant. You and Arteta together?
I'm just saying, as the former Everton manager, Ancelotti, I would love if he came back. That would be fine. But the response, I mean, even from Real Madrid fans, there's a little bit of like,
you ever see like there's matches? I can't think of one now. I think it was I think Maradona might have done this. There's some matches where even a hated rival will give you a standing ovation at the end of the match because you're like, you just put on a show. This was insane. This feels like one of those moments. Maybe I don't think you saw the reaction from the Real Madrid traveling fans, but I think even Real Madrid fans that I've seen, they're like, yo, hats off.
Yeah.
You did your thing.
Exactly. And those free kicks from Rice, where it was just like, it was so remarkable that it's like we're frustrated with our team, and Vinicius was abysmal.
He was there?
He didn't do anything. I mean, I don't know how much we don't have too much time to break down. I mean, I thought the biggest mistake from Real Madrid starting Luka Modric. Modric was.
Do you know
I think he's past it, especially playing against a Premier League team.
I'm gonna give you some evidence to suggest that. Do you know the first time he played at the Emirates? He played for Dinamo Zagreb.
Okay,
it was 2006.
Bro, I was 4.
You wouldn't buy a car from 2006.
That's correct. I mean, it's like. I mean, if
you got sneakers the sneakers you wore that day, if they were Jordans and you put them away, when you take them out, the sole's crumbling. I'm not even making that up. Like that's how long ago that was.
I mean, look, he's a legend of the game, and whatever.
One of my favorite. He played for Tottenham and still one of my favorite midfielders of all time. I love Luka Modric. I think he's timeless. Yeah. I think he should get the opportunities to start. watching this one, I'm like, maybe this one wasn't it.
It just, yeah. I mean, and again, it's just the
also
the
not really his
players,
fault. The way they were set up, I think this does fall on Ancelotti's lap.
I think a 3-0 result is not like the players gave up or whatever.
No.
I really think just from beginning to end, Arteta had the better lineup and
Better tactics.
Better tactics. The players, Miles Lewis-Skelly. I love the fact that he is a left back. He was making moves on the middle center of the pitch.
He had to tuck in. For a teenager to tuck in knowing you're leaving space open for either Vinny or Mbappe, the craziness of it.
And then even
you have to be brave.
You got to be brave. But then also when Rodrigo would get the ball, Miles Lewis-Skelly was like, you ain't doing shit, bro.
Yeah. Oh, did you think because I'm over here I can't catch up to you?
I'll be right there.
Hold on. Bro, why don't you start that run? I'll see you when we get up there.
No.
Miles Lewis-Skelly, and I mean, Ethan Waneri, when he first came in, we were all like, whoa, Miles Lewis-Skelly to me, ready to start. I don't care what age he is. That dude's ready to start.
Yeah.
Arsenal fans have been talking about we need a left back, and maybe there's a good sense of like you bring someone who's a bit more veteran, you know? It looks like Zinchenko's probably going to be gone. It looks like Tierney is going to be gone.
Yeah.
Maybe you bring someone in with a little bit more veteran presence just to be able to rotate. But as far as I'm concerned, I no longer am a little worried when a teenager in Miles Lewis-Skelly is starting a left back. My guy knows exactly what he's doing. His ability to be influential in the middle of the park, give Declan Rice the opportunity to run forward and be more influential moving forward. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, great games for every Arsenal player, and
even
we'll
Thomas
see.
Partey, who I don't like, is playing well.
We'll see what the second leg looks like because we'll get to the rest of the Champions League matches in our next segment. But yeah, it's looking like PSG might be the next opponent, and even they look a little bit scarier than Real Madrid right now.
I also said PSG might win the whole thing, so this is good. This is a tough.
All right, so let's take a quick break, and then we'll wrap up with all the other Champions League matches from this week. All right, we are back. Let's talk some more of the UEFA Champions League.
There were other games.
And a generally exciting 4 games. Like where you don't usually always sort of get this through Champions League match days, but like every game had some kind of either surprise. There were plenty of goals.
Oh yeah,
so it was just a good Champions League week.
There's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, so let's start. Bayern hosting Inter, a game where I think in our predictions that we did for One Football. I had said this is one where I kind of saw an upset. I think this was I expect Bayern to probably win in the end in the second leg, but I'm not surprised Inter played as well as they did. And then the goal that Lautaro Martinez
oh my
was
God,
just one of the most beautiful.
That was before Arsenal or Real Madrid had scored, so I was like, oh, this is probably the only goal we're going to see today.
Sure, and just I forgot who was it. Thuram that laid off the ball.
It was like outside of the foot,
outside of
right
Trivela,
foot, yeah.
And
Quaresma, bro, Quaresma style.
Yeah, I mean, you usually expect the Trivela to go outside, obviously outside,
far post.
Or I thought he was on the near post. I thought he was gonna go near post Trivela.
Oh, really?
Out and into that corner, but he went from the near post to the far post. Around like a couple players, and the goalkeeper, you could just tell I did not expect this shot.
That's not an angle that science has supplied us with evidence could happen.
I was not preparing for that shot to come my way, and then they Frattesi ends up scoring late. But and Harry Kane should do better in this game. Like he had an opportunity to score and didn't. But this feels like a game of just like a few missed opportunities. But but credit to Inter for going to Munich and winning 2-1 and looking pretty confident while they were doing it. So overall, this was I think just something where. Bayern is going to regret those missed opportunities. The only goal came from Thomas Müller, of all people who announced he's leaving Bayern this summer.
Which was fitting.
Sure.
Especially you can see in the celebration But I think this is, for some reason, it feels like this next second leg dictates whether Vincent Kompany keeps his job or not.
Really?
Yeah, there's something about
the leash is that short. It's his first.
I do, and
his first season or second.
And I could see him coming back even if they lose, because I can see Bayern being like, look, we're back to winning the league. Let's take it a second. But there's something about there's there's still questions about his ability to manage at this level. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, clearly, yes, you can manage the team in Bundesliga. You can get these players playing well, but can you out-tactic? Can you outsmart? Can you out-coach the guys on the other side that you're going to be going up against? And if he was going up against a Luis Enrique, I don't think he's outsmarting him. If he's going up against Mikel Arteta, I don't think he's outsmarting him. I think he has a chance, not with Inzaghi. I think he would have a chance if it was somebody else. But Inzaghi, to me, I love the way he manages his team. I love the way he sends his center backs to almost be center forwards.
Mhm.
I love the tactic. I think Inzaghi is putting this team a little bit out of Vincent Kompany's reach, and I feel like that's going to weigh heavy on whether they decide to keep him or not. But he probably stays next year. He probably doesn't get sacked. But the confidence around his ability to manage a team like Bayern Munich, I think, has a lot to say with how they finish this round.
Okay, we'll see. This, I mean, as far as any of the quarterfinal match, this is like obviously the closest one.
Yeah, this is the most parity here.
So you could, I
feel real bad for Borussia Dortmund.
I could see Bayern doing well in Milan against them. So next up, Barcelona against Borussia Dortmund.
This was a mollywop, bro.
This is, I mean, really, really disappointing.
Rafinha, bro. What a superstar this kid is.
Yeah, or a thief.
Good way to look at it. But remember, like 2 years ago, was it? Maybe, I think it was before this season. I was like, you got to get rid of this guy. Because I'm still thinking, boy, he leads, right? I'm thinking Leeds, Rafinha. And I'm like, he ain't got that ceiling, bruh. I think we've seen that ceiling already. He ain't got another floor. But this dude got 2 penthouses. But I've seen from him this season, I was like, you know how like sometimes you'll see like an Arsene Wenger or someone say like, oh, I saw him make 2 passes in a game when he was 12 years old. And I said, that guy's going to be a defensive midfielder. I don't have that. You know what I mean? Right. Most people don't, by the way. But I know for sure I ain't got that. I still don't have it where I could look at a player and go, those 2 or 3 things he did shows me he has this. There's a couple of things like, if you see a midfielder checking over his shoulder a lot, you're like, oh, okay, he's a couple steps ahead. I don't know what people saw in Rafinha before. I was just like, well, speed on a wing, bro. Is that it?
I think there's something to, I think Henri was talking about this in the broadcast or halftime or something, about talking about that it's not always easy for players to play with world-class players. I think he was really talking about like maybe Lamine Yamal or something like that. But just
who's beyond world class.
Yeah. But just the concept of like, that's why I think of Rafinha. Rafinha was not playing alongside other world class players. He was just a really good player on a team. And you
had to be able to look at that and go, if surrounded by better players,
right,
they would rise to that level. Not easy. That's a big risk.
And it doesn't necessarily mean, even if they are good and the best player on their own team, doesn't mean that if they play with 10 other world-class players that they will also be like the same guy that's like, yo, give me the rock.
Yeah, especially a team like Barcelona who's financially hamstrung every which way.
Yeah.
It's a big commitment to make to somebody without knowing for sure they're going to rise to that level. This man has not only rise to that level, he's pushed that level up alongside Lamine Yamal.
I think for the most part, like I don't know what the discourse was in the locker room after, like with Cubarsí being like, bro, it was my goal.
Bonus.
You don't need.
You don't get a bonus. I get a bonus.
So, and that's why you have to be that kind of selfish a little bit.
What do you do if you're Rafinha and you take that ball off of Cubarsí to get the goal? You got to take him out to dinner or something.
Right? Yeah, you got to say something. You can't just be like, "Hey, them's the breaks."
Yeah, man. Maybe hit a little harder next time. Beat me to it, you know? Did you see the clip Robinson Cano talking on that Dominican podcast?
No.
How he said he loved Alex Rodriguez, loved playing with him. He said, because if you celebrated with him off to the corner of the dugout, if you celebrated his home runs with him, and if they showed a bunch of clips of him and somebody else, Robinson Cano, somebody else, when they were on the Yankees, going crazy with Alex Rodriguez, like, hey, like, bigging him up, he would hand you $500. Because he loves spending money so much.
Yeah.
He'd be like, he's the only player that I was allowed to call me rookie. He'd be like, yo, rookie, dame un café. He's like, and I bring him his coffee every time. He's like, I loved it. And they were like, why'd you love it? He goes, because he would give me $500.
Yeah. You pay for the loyalty.
Yeah, if he hits you, I mean, if he hits a home run, he's like, bro, take $500. You brought me coffee, take $500.
way
So
to
I was
do
like,
it.
I was like, yo, I love this guy. I feel like that's what Rafinha's got to do. He's got Alex Rodriguez a little bit.
It's a little Pablo Escobar-esque.
Buddy, first of all, we know who I was meant to be in this world. But also, if you're Cubarsi and you get to your changing area, your locker room, if you will, next match, and there's not a Rolex sitting there, bro, Rafinha ain't.
That's fair. But no, on Dortmund's side, I think just psychologically, once the goal started in the first half, they scored in the 25th minute. But something, I don't know if it's the motivation or they just were. It felt that they were defeated.
It felt like they were overwhelmed.
Yeah, just even like I do also think given that these games are 2 legs, there should be a little bit more caution, even if you're losing. Like if you're losing 2-0,
because you have a second leg.
Yeah, just like don't. This is not time to send everybody forward.
You got 90 minutes to do that next match.
So I think that's where the mistake was, especially after they gave up the second goal. I'm like, what are these risks that they're taking?
Part of me believed at first that they're like, oh, maybe they're hoping to like steal a point and come back home, right? Mm-hmm. Yellow wall behind you.
Yeah.
Maybe you can inspire you. There's no way you're coming back from this.
Yeah.
That second half decision to kind of go crazy, like to send more numbers forward, doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But also, here's what I want to see in the second leg. Let Gio play. At this point, what do you got to lose?
I mean, he did play and what didn't really do much of anything.
Okay,
but
let him start.
Let him start. Let him have a good time out there.
That's what I'm saying, bro. You ain't got nothing. You ain't got nothing.
But I mean, this just highlights like a lot of the either defensive issues that they have.
I think this also
there
shows
were a couple players missing for Dortmund.
I also think
Gross.
I think Seru Girassi or Girassi. I think I'm willing to say I didn't think would be this good. I thought maybe he was a bit of a fluke. He's been pretty good this season. Clearly, you have stuff
it's a little, to me, I think...
A little streaky?
No, not streaky is not the word. He's a little like CONCACAF-y. He's a little bit like trying to get penalties. He's a little like not solely focused on being a dominant striker.
He was an okay striker until he was 28, and then all
I
of a
know.
sudden he became great. So I think he's still got some of that. Like I need to earn my spot.
When he was at Stuttgart before, and he had an unbelievable season. And then so Dortmund is like, yo, let's bring this guy in. Yeah. And there's just a little for the way that Dortmund plays. I think there just needs to be a little.
I never thought it was the right choice, but he's had a good
season. He's good. I mean, if there's
it's not last year wasn't a fluke.
Exactly,
is the most important part. So I think there's stuff to build on, but I think. Look, last year getting to the Champions League final, that wasn't going to happen all the time. This is not going to happen again.
They got sort of found out in Champions League, even though they've been kind of found out in Bundesliga.
Yeah, they've had a rough one. Nuri Sahin was a terrible decision to bring in as a coach.
What are you going to do?
So now start Gio, and we'll make it okay on the show.
Gio will fix everything.
Bro, call him.
4 goals incoming from
Giovanni Rice Reina, bro.
And last Champions League game we got to talk about. PSG against Aston Villa.
Yo, Luis Enrique is the best manager in the game right now.
Interesting. Bold statement, bro.
Right now, Luis Enrique, best manager in the game.
I will say the fact that PSG is they didn't have a great start in the Champions League, in the league.
They didn't have a great start, not at all.
And maybe
they barely got in.
Maybe we're seeing the strategy.
Liverpool finished top. Where are they?
Maybe he's like, don't run out of gas.
Yeah.
So early. We don't need to be first.
MLS. Momentum into the playoffs.
Okay. This is the MLS table.
Yeah, this is the MLS Champions
League,
in the
wild card spot. You're still in.
You in, baby. You just got to make the playoffs. And there's no relegation. So this is MLS. You don't get bumped down to Europa.
This is something where, speaking to Luis Enrique, what he's been able to do after losing him and losing Mbappe, not selling Mbappe.
No, giving away Mbappe. They didn't lose Mbappe. Remember, this man benched him. Remember, he was pulling him out of matches in the 28th minute?
Yeah.
Let's go sit with your family, bro. The ability for Luis Enrique to say, okay, this is Mbappe's team. It's been Mbappe's team forever. He got rid of Messi. He got rid of Neymar. He wants to be the star. He's out of here anyway. So I need to shift the focus to everyone else. I need to be the guy. I hate to use the word fucking been, demonized so much. It's been turned into something much else. But he says, I need this to be Luis Enrique's team. I need to be the one that has control of the locker room. I need people to listen to me, not him.
Yeah.
I don't need people to look at him to say, what do we do? I need them to look at me. So I'm willing to put my career on the line. And he was putting his job on the line by benching this guy, benching him, pulling him out in the 28th minute, making everyone confused, making everyone talk about it. I think Mbappe handled it well. He leaves. It took a minute, man. When you got a guy like Dembele, bro, it takes a minute to be like, you got to stop making me look bad. I'm giving you chances. But Desiree Doué, Mendes, Vitinha.
Yeah.
I mean, this is...
Kvaratskhelia was...
Kvaratskhelia. I was like, why are you buying this guy? You already got people like, this is an amazing buy.
We were just like, Barcola's fine.
Yeah.
Why are you giving those?
You don't need all this.
What how wrong were we?
Yeah.
I mean,
yet again.
Yeah, I mean the identity of this team. I mean, it's looking like a Barcelona team. I mean, let's not be kind of great. Let's not be crazy about it.
I also think, in a way, all right, look, the fans, bit of immunity, right? I think they went to Neymar's house. They chanted in front of Neymar's house. They wanted the big stars gone. They wanted the team to feel a little bit more Parisian, a little bit more like them. We've talked about this a couple of times. In a sense, it could be like, a lot of times players will be like, this is why the fans don't make decisions. This is why the fans don't buy players. This is why the fans don't do this. In a way, the team... I don't want to say capitulating, but the team's saying, we'll meet you halfway. We'll get rid of the superstars, even though they try to keep Mbappe. We'll get rid of the superstars. We'll bring in big players, but that play for the badge, not for themselves. And you're seeing the fruits of that labor. And to me, it starts with the decisions Luis Enrique makes. No one has a position. This is beautiful. No one's like, yo, you better stay on the right-hand side. I'm going to stay on the left. It's pandemonium. If you're Aston Villa, you don't know who to defend. You're like, this wasn't my man's at the beginning of the match.
Sure. This was... Look, and then Aston Villa scores first. So I'm thinking, okay, this is going to be...
Who was it, Morgan, right?
Yeah, Morgan Rogers. Yeah. And a goal where just a great switches of play and PSG forget that there might be players behind them, and Morgan Rogers basically walks the ball in. And then after that, the goal from Doué was something where, everybody, the curl and everything, it was a beautiful shot, but it's really what happens before he takes the shot, because he does a body feint to make it seem like he's about to cross it.
Right.
And Emi Martinez bites. He's like, it's a cross is about to come in.
I see what he's about to do.
Let me get in.
He tries to cheat.
And he cheats and he gets near post. Desiree Doué takes another touch and bangs it in far post. And that goal is not solely on Emi, because obviously the defender could close in a little bit and do a little bit better. But Emi Martinez, you can't break away from the fundamentals.
Nah, man, you got to stay. You got to keep your feet where they're supposed to be, bro.
You can't move. The play, he's like 20 yards from you.
Yeah.
You can't be biting like it's a 1v1, like your 1v1 defender.
And let me tell you something. Right after that goal, there was a certain sound that comes from the PSG fans where I was like, oh, wait a minute. This is the lick back for the World Cup.
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean,
this was in that moment. I was like, I could feel like people are like, every time they beat him, they're like, how's it feel now?
Yeah.
There is something. This feels a little bit like, we've talked about like how sometimes national teams feel like that country's army. You know what I mean? When they play another team. There's something about PSG right now where that feels like this is France's team right now. And I know there's Marseille fans like, no. And I'm sure Lyon fans are like, absolutely not. But you get what I'm saying? There's a weird sentiment about just one of us beat Emi Martinez.
Yeah, there was a good backdrop of like, and Emi Martinez still has the Argentina colors. He got the flag in his hair. So he knows what he's doing too. But no, this was a, I thought PSG was fantastic all over the pitch. But the goals themselves, the Kvaratskhelia goal,
crazy.
Emi Martinez probably should do a little bit better there.
This was a weird match for Emi Martinez, especially with, you would assume the way they were set up, they were like, look, let's just be defensive as possible and try to get back to Villa Park. This was odd. I expect Emi Martinez to be much more of a brick wall.
Sure, and look, it's not only on him, because his defenders also have to do a job too, and try to make the shots as difficult as possible on those PSG attackers.
I also think this was Emery making a bit of a mistake, trying to sort of defensively, during their attacking setup, they were defensively in a back three, which I think it's kind of hard because it is what it is, but you leave so much room for some of the best players in the world. You know what I mean? I think you're seeing here, Konza would step forward. Matty Cash would sometimes step forward, but you would see kind of Matty Cash move forward and they'd stay in the back three. You just leave so much room. Look, Kvaratskhelia and Desiree Doué. Those are two players you don't want to have acres of space in front of, and they constantly found that.
And just the level of it's not necessarily like the Aston Villa is like overmatched per se, because I think they can do better when they're at home, but it's just when you see the level of skill, the goals from Nuno Mendes and the goal from Kvaratskhelia, it's like the fact that a fullback is your defenders are falling all over the floor.
That's what I'm talking about.
And
Luis
cutting back.
At some point, we're going to see the goalkeeper talking to the other goalkeeper. Luis Enrique is a maniac.
And it's like, you understand that the players can do it. They can technically do it.
Yeah.
But then if they have the confidence under that pressure, basically inside their 6-yard box and moving the ball around, it takes a lot of confidence to do that. And PSG are looking like they're just in a very, very confident place. Basically, they look like the best team in the knockout stages of the Champions League.
Absolutely.
They are not just winning games. Sort of.
I hope they pair up against Barcelona at some point because I want to see that matchup.
Yeah, I mean, look, penalties could have gone any way with Liverpool, but outside of that, they've looked incredibly confident.
Liverpool for a long time were the best team in the world, best team in Europe. So I think it takes a lot to beat them. If it takes penalties, who cares?
It would be, but it'll also, if PSG end up winning Champions League, it would be hilarious.
Without Mbappe,
this would be the funniest.
There's something about that. And I'm not an Mbappe hater. I love Mbappe.
No, but it's just the storyline itself.
The storyline itself.
Mbappe watching them PSG lift the trophy after being, frustrated and wanting to leave and all this stuff, and he's gonna be like,
someone needs to take
was it me
the
whole time?
Someone needs to take the picture of Mbappe in his childhood bedroom with all the Cristiano Ronaldo poser and put them all Luis Enrique. Someone needs to do that.
Hey, all right. Maybe it's us.
Maybe it's us. Maybe you heard it here first.
We've already seen Alexis's Photoshop skills, so maybe it might be
Pretty
him.
Great. Very great. It'll take me. Yeah, I'll start now. Isn't it hilarious if it's just a rice cooker with Luis Enrique in it? I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, bro.
But you get it.
Yeah.
You know what this is.
You know the vibes I'm trying to say, though.
All right. We're going to take one more break, and then we got to talk about CONCACAF Champions Cup because even domestically, we had a little bit more chaos than there was at
CONCACAF-y.
Exactly. So we'll talk CONCACAF Champions Cup right after this.
All right, welcome back to the Cooligans. We got to talk a little CONCACAF Champions Cup. Obviously, we're going to talk about Inter Miami, but
that game was insane. Yeah,
it's bananas. A true CONCACAF match. But Inter Miami is going to be in the FIFA Club World Cup, and even though it kind of looks like the Blangolan flag, this literally is the FIFA Club World Cup ball.
Well, this is directly, I think, from Infantino's office.
It is from Infantino's office, which is crazy. We're going to put a little note on it. It text us. There's a gentleman from FIFA here.
Yes.
They are taking this ball back. This is not for us to keep, by the way. So if you're listening, you got to check it out. It's actually beautiful.
Yeah, so watch on YouTube. This is just wild that we get to do this next segment with the FIFA Club World Cup ball. And obviously there's a bunch of matches happening. The Club World Cup matches happening at MetLife that we'll mention a little bit. But that's why this whole thing is here, because obviously in not only do we have Club World Cup, but we also have the World Cup coming on. There's a lot going on at MetLife Stadium.
I also want to make an announcement. This is also the official ball of Blangola.
Okay, we've adopted it.
It looks like the flag, so why not, bro?
It's pretty similar. So I think they stole our flag and put it on this ball.
You know what? Gianni, I'm allowing it. Are we on first name basis?
Gigi.
Yeah.
He loves
G.I.,
it.
baby.
He loves it when we call him that.
Tino. My guy, Tino.
All right. CONCACAF Champions Cup.
Bro, this was the most match of all times.
This was...
Every 3 minutes, something happened.
Well, look, after the first leg... it basically
was controversy already. A guy who should have gotten a red card.
Nathan Ordaz, we talked about him that he should have gotten a red, and he ends up scoring, and it was like a whole thing. So there,
Mascherano's
it's
mad.
not easy. It's not easy to keep Inter Miami scoreless in home or away, and so it was an exciting first leg. But this second leg, from as soon as the whistle blew, there was something in me and all of us, I think I said, the most CONCACAF-y stuff is going to happen in this game. There's no way it's not.
You know what I love this is Messi, Suarez, Jordi Alba, Busquets.
Busquets, who was out for yellow card accumulation.
Mascherano. These names, when you think of them, you think of European, right? Playing the game in Europe, playing at the highest level. In their soul, outside of Busquets and Jordi Alba, in their soul, these are communal people, okay?
Sure.
You know what I mean? They know how to get down and dirty. They've played in Bolivia. You feel me?
Sure.
You know, closer to the stars than you are to the ocean. They've played in some of these places. So when this game started, I said, we're about to see the real. We're about to see, you know what I mean? The Copa America version of Messi, not the Champions League. CONCACAF, the UEFA Champions League.
Right.
And this was it, man. If you breathed on Messi, he was rolling on the ground.
I mean, look, you're going to do everything you can. You already are down 1-0 in the aggregate score. And then Aaron Long, of all people, who has not really scored many goals in his career.
No, not in his career.
If it's more than 8, I'd be kind of shocked.
Yeah, when you think of Aaron Long, you think of him heading a ball away.
Exactly.
Clearing a ball.
And
for him to be finding himself open in front of the
he has
box.
scored the last 2-3 years at LAFC. Not only has he scored like headers here and there, but he's scoring like bangers with his legs and feet. I'm like, where is this coming from?
Also, you know what I thought was, I think Messi also thought was a little disrespectful. As soon as they score, he's like, hey, we're not even celebrating. Run it back. Run back. We're going to do it again. And Messi was like, I think I got to show y'all something.
Right. And then, and after that goal, and you saw the urgency in Messi's face of just like, there was a little bit of like, I'm not losing.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. The rest of my team, I ain't losing this one.
Messi, what is it? Club de International Club de Messi will not lose this match.
Yeah, and
Miami may, but I will not. Watch what I do with y'all.
So there was a lot more of like, give me the ball. I'm gonna be the one that it makes decisions. And
give me the rock,
I gotta give credit to. I don't understand how Miami can keep getting away with this, even this season, where the team is built so top heavy, and clearly all the talents and skill, it's prioritized up top offensively, and then you gotta give credit to their defenders and players like Yannick Bright and Falcone. Mascherano is putting them in situations where it's like, look, Falcone, it's just gonna be you.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be you, and you might have two or three guys that you have to mark.
In training, we're gonna have everyone run at you for 5 days a week, just to prepare you for what you're about to happen.
And it's unreal that they keep getting away with it. They find a way to make the play.
Second.
Yannick Wright had a ball that he was chasing down Buanga and just threw his legs. And he's like, I hope it could have been a red card, maybe.
Yeah. It's like when you see someone slide into first, you're like, you don't even know what you're doing, and somehow it works. You know what I mean?
So the fact that so this is where I say like LAFC missed so many chances to just close this game out, because after they scored the goal, it was almost like how the saying like the worst scoreline is to be up like 2-0 or whatever.
Yeah, it's the most dangerous scoreline.
And they were up 2-0 in aggregate. And we're playing like they were up 2-0 in that game.
Yeah.
And so Cherundolo to just be like, all right, just give them the ball. We just don't have to give up 3. And what is exactly what happens?
It's as if Messi told him what to do. They were getting pelted with shots. But I also will say, this could be a different conversation had Danny Bouanga not been Danny Bouanga. Because we talked about this from the beginning. Man, when he's on, there might not be anybody better offensively, like in the attack as a striker, especially in a counter in the league.
Yeah.
But then there's moments where you're like, did you just forget how to shoot?
There's a little bit of like, we all know, respectfully, CONCACAF and everyone, we know what they want.
Yeah.
We know they want Messi in the final.
And look, we ain't being stupid. We also kind of want Messi in the final.
We're putting the note on the ball that gets back to Gianni, all right? We know.
Yeah.
All this says, the post-it just says, we know.
Yeah.
So we get it.
WK.
So when Buanga is getting that chance late in the game, where I'm like, how is he still so fast?
Yeah.
Even late in the game, he's still faster than everybody. And he has a 1v1 with the goalkeeper, Ustari, who Ustari is, I don't even know how old is Ustari? Ustari
wasn't he like 30?
I think we talked about because he looks old. He's
38.
38.
Yeah.
He's 38, but he looks 45.
Can I also say, did you see the save he makes on Denny Bouanga where he kind of pushes off to the
Yeah.
side? He's like, he looks like, y'all gonna make me do this for another 10 minutes.
Lethal Weapon. Like,
We too old for this.
I'm too old for this. And that's kind of what I was seeing. And he made some unbelievable stops. He had
Really
another
good.
one earlier on Bouanga, the header. But Bouanga not going far post with that shot late in the game. It's like,
How about just not getting it on frame practically?
it
was kind of crazy.
But it was so like, that's not the shot. They want Miami to win. You're like, whether
Right.
it's
You should have to
I
read
don't
the
wanna
book
be
to know how this ends.
conspiracy theory, but
Yeah.
what they want to happen.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're gonna go near post there. You think that's really the best shot when you have you already passed the center back. All you got to do is go far post and at least make the keeper work a little harder to stop that shot. And look, but credit to Ustari, he made the saves he needed to make.
I mean, it wasn't even a shot. It looked like he passed it to him.
Maybe. I
You
mean,
know.
there's a little nerviness. It's like late in the game. It's stoppage time. But honestly, that Ustari save, all I saw was Emi Martinez in the World Cup.
Yep.
Against Colomwani.
To me, when I first, with a little difference though, Emmy got up and he was like, come on. He got up and he's like, ugh,
My back.
my back, bro. Sciatica. Not you, babe. My sciatica hurts. Sorry.
So,
I think personally watching this, the moment that sticks out to me the most, because obviously it's crazy, was the kind of scuffle that happened after Messi gets quote unquote fouled.
No, he got body checked by.
But come on, he practically ran into the guy almost on purpose.
Eddie Segura, when he came in the game.
But when Messi kind of goes down, a bunch of the players, right, the scuffle. There's Luis Suarez goes in and starts grabbing his own players around, but he's like yelling at the same time. He's not like trying to stop it. It was like your uncle finding out you get bullied in high school. He's like, I'm gonna go fight the guy. And you're like, you're about to get bodied. But this guy and all his friends, bro.
Sure.
There was a Theo moment there where I was like,
there's also a little bit of, you foul Messi hard. I understand like protecting your teamate, and
you got to do it.
Messi. You got to do it,
especially because it's Messi. You got to go up there.
But there is also there's an antagonistic element that Inter Miami they have, and
you gotta
this is where
the dark arts, bro.
This is
also Luis Suarez on the team.
what they bring in. Sometimes in moments like that, I feel like I'm watching an Argentinian league game.
That's what I'm saying.
Where it just gets
you gotta muddy it up a little bit.
It is Kill Bill. Screen is red.
Yeah.
Everybody's just mad. And
I love that in South America, part of the game is to like overwhelm the referee.
Yes, and this referee in particular,
he was way overwhelmed.
So I don't know, but so
he said it was a goal when Messi scores the free kick before the whistle.
Before the whistle was blown. So that's another. It's not even about the ref being bad or good. This Cesar Arturo Ramos Palazuelos.
Okay, there was seven referees.
This was the ref.
My God.
But we've seen this ref.
Cesar Arturo Ramos Palazuelos.
They were mentioning it on the broadcast. He was the referee for another game, like another big game that was also like that had a lot of controversy. But this ref in general is like a no nonsense ref.
Yeah.
Where he's like a little. When that scuffle happened, I was looking at that and I'm like, oh, there's gonna be maybe three reds here, and the ref is like, everybody stop. Game, keep going. I'm not looking at anything. I see it. It's all.
I don't care about VAR.
Ridiculous. He gave like 1 or 2 yellows.
Two papaus.
And he's like, VAR. He's like, you on mute. I don't hear you.
Yeah.
And he's like, no. And part of me, what I love about that is that it feels he's like a pre-VAR ref. He's like,
but also like I think even maybe this is not characteristic of him, but in that moment I think he says, I'm not going to be the one that decides this.
Yes.
And I know they're shoving and pushing. They're all doing it. So I'm going to say this happens again.
Exactly.
Then I'm going to punish you.
Right. So like,
it's like your mom really wants to go to that store. So she's like, all right, one more time and I will turn the minivan around. Right now we're still going.
So I appreciate that because it keeps the game moving and he's not spending his time looking at like who slapped who or whatever. When I was watching it, I'm like, it looked like Jordi Alba kind of slapped the guy.
Yeah.
Not sure. And he did the he did the slap, and then as soon as he got touched by Olivier Giroud, he's like, "Oh my god,
Yeah.
oh my god, how
He
could they attack me?"
collapsed like a Jenga at
And
a
the
bad
ref was like,
sports
"I'm not
bar.
looking at anything. Just keep the game going."
Yeah.
So the only thing I would say to that is like, yes, it does feel like a little pre-VAR, and like the game is chaotic and crazy,
Right.
but there's a little bit of like, all right, are we letting Miami get away with a couple things?
I think
this happened, and I just want to mention that this happened in the MLS game over the weekend where there was a possible handball, and Busquets immediately starts the play very, very quickly to not even look. But this can't be the thing. Like the VAR.
But I just think we're looking at it too intently to find that. I forget what the term is, but the thing of someone who says like, if you want to buy a red car, you're going to start to see red cars everywhere.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's that thing. It's that thing of like, I think we're looking for these moments because I feel like, yes, Miami do get some calls more than others. I think part of the referee is like, I can't believe Messi's in front of me. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, he punched that dude in the face. But it's Messi, bro. This is crazy. I think there's part of that. But at the same time, I don't think it's as much as we bring it up. You know what I mean?
Maybe. I just, there's enough of like, where, the standard has sort of been set where everything is being like, microscopically looked at, and so
but every fan is like, they want Messi to be in the final, and part of me is like, I want Messi to be in the final.
And then, look, and you can go back and say, like in the first leg, Ordaz not getting that red card, it goes against that narrative that they want Miami to move on. But I mean, we all saw this coming.
Yeah,
like, and more than anything, I just like, did Cherundolo see this coming? We knew what it was going to be like for Miami at home. They're probably going to get some favorable calls. You score, and you have the away goal, so they need 3, and you let them get 3, and then it's just the pressure. LAFC just folded under the pressure, and then Aaron Long bumps into his teammate as the ball's in the air, causes a handball, which is
I've never even seen that.
Just unbelievable, and I would even argue there was a goal that was given back for offside that Luis Suarez scored, that probably like there isn't the semi-automated, and they put the lines down.
Lines were a little janky.
Yeah, it looked like the lines were on the wrong defender, and so it didn't look right. It looked like it was a good goal, but they ended up winning anyway. With even like they probably should have won even without the controversy. But yeah, just a insane game, and they just CONCACAF-y to its full full extent,
the full definition.
Yeah, and then also after this game, Vancouver beats Pumas in Mexico City. Another one,
crazy,
back and forth, and that game, both legs were pretty even. Both games ended in a draw, but Vancouver wins on the away goal differential,
which is crazy. And you got Coco Carrasquilla, who's now on Pumas with a great assist. There was so much where I was like, "Yo, Vancouver gonna be overrun." I remember how big we thought Sartini was. They're better. They're playing better without. With what's his name? I can't remember his name.
I forgot his name. The new
Sorensen.
coach. So yeah, and
Jesper.
He has them playing very, very well. Tristan Blackman, we had him on the show when he was at LAFC. Great dude, and to him to score that goal, just a center back, scoring with his feet, another one, game winner at the end. Just a remarkable run. So now this puts into Miami versus Vancouver, and based on the results, if Miami win, they most likely will host the CONCACAF Champions Cup final in Miami, which, oh boy, I mean, Montagliani is very happy.
Yeah. Did you see the pictures David Beckham posted on his Instagram?
I didn't.
It's him throwing a punch, like celebrating. Victoria Beckham is in the background, and Jorge Mas is going nuts behind him. What a that's the CONCACAF Champions Cup. It's got Victoria Beckham and David Beckham celebrating like crazy.
Yeah.
If you go to his David Beckham right there, the second one. It's in the feed too. Look.
Oh yeah. Yeah, dude.
How crazy is this, bro?
Beckham is stoked, bro. I think this. I love how Victoria Beckham is just really not interested. Couldn't be bothered.
She's like, what exactly is happening? Is whatever's happening, is this goods?
So the and look, credit to we all, us MLS sickos, we're gonna watch.
We love this.
Yeah, we watch Champions Cup, whether it's we're watching a Guatemalan team playing against Honduras. Like we'll watch it.
But we don't care if it's Messi or Solomon Rondon. We're watching.
This does something. I think this definitely helps the Champions Cup in general, because this is something where I think MLS fans are not really used to watching like midweek, a Tuesday, Wednesday game. Like they don't just know to go watch it. It's just like MLS is on Saturdays and whatever. So, so I think this is like historic and important for
that applause is not for Messi. It's just for the CONCACAF Champions Cup. They always give you something.
It is just it's our brand of chaos. That is just UEFA has their things and whatever, but this is just.
You ever go to somebody's house to eat dinner and they have salad forks, and then you go back to your house and it's people yelling at each other, and you're like, all right. Yeah, maybe your situation's a little classy. This is ours.
I'll be honest. The food tastes better with the yelling.
Bro, and by the way, they're not even yelling. They're talking to each other. I need that to be said very plainly.
They're just talking to family in the Caribbean, bro. And you got to speak louder. Because they don't hear you because they're farther away.
Because the Wi-Fi is bad, bro.
So look, exciting stuff, and excited to the Champions Cup to continue. I believe in 2 weeks is when it kicks back off. But
all the Champions League, both Champions League, Champions Cup.
Again, shout out to FIFA for bringing the Club World Cup ball. Obviously the Club World Cup and the World Cup happening. Obviously this summer and next summer. But yeah, MetLife is gonna have a bunch of games. Obviously, the one thing. Just to let people know is that if you get tickets for the Club World Cup, it puts you in line so that you can get tickets for the World Cup next year. So make sure you do that. Obviously, we're all ramping up and looking forward to this. But the Club World Cup is going to be it's the amuse-bouche
for the palate setting
for
a bit of an appetizer
for the World Cup. So shout out to
you want to split some onion rings? What's this?
So thank you. The one thing I want to mention, and it's on a more serious note, and Jamie, I didn't mention this before, but I had seen, I don't know if you saw this, but we haven't gotten our press credentials yet, but we're gonna like figure all that stuff out. But there was a thing, and I just want to put this on air just so because I think enough people have been talking about it. But
there was a guy who was not a full-time journalist,
not a full-time photographer that got denied,
which makes sense in Europe.
Which might make sense in Europe. So I think there's a
out here, bro. Money ain't that strong. You got to do other things.
Maybe misunderstanding or misrepresentation of like what people who work in soccer, what they sort of look like and what they do, and a lot of people have, when we got our first press credentials, you were doing pizza tours.
Yeah,
I was doing
IT.
I mean, there's a little bit. Not at that moment, but it's a whole thing. I worked for.
He was. We talked about it on the show. You've heard it before.
It's a whole thing, but so I think that is one thing to point out. It's just like people do have a bunch of different jobs. Yeah. So I hope this is something.
If you want only full-time journalist, you're just gonna have the Athletic.
So.
That's about it.
So it's not putting
even some of them got one of them is a mechanic. You feel me?
So we would have never gotten our first press credential if that was the policy back then. So that's just something I hope that FIFA looks into, and because it's not fair, because there are people that contribute a lot to covering this game.
Some of your favorite contributors to this game have to do other things to make it.
And it's almost impossible to make money.
And here's the benefit. If this Club World Cup and this FIFA World Cup are that good, it's going to make the system and the game in this country so big that those guys won't have to have other jobs and those ladies won't have to have other jobs. So help us build this. Help us build this and make the bump that comes after the World Cup and the Club World Cup as big as possibly can.
Okay, so look, that's the note we're putting on the ball to Jim.
Yeah. I might add a couple things after that, sweet. Yeah. Hospitality for the Cooligans,
Okay, at least, we got to get the messages however we can.
Look, I got to get my beak wet. That's what I'm saying.
All right.
I'm going to get mine.
Let's wrap up there. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us today. Obviously, all this Champions League coverage on 2 continents. Make sure you subscribe to the Cooligans here on YouTube if you're listening to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. Make sure you follow us also on Blue Sky at soccercooligans.com. Everybody's leaving that other website to have some more reasonable discourse on a social media app. So get over there. Create an account if you have not yet. And we'll be back on what's today? Thursday.
So we're back on Monday.
We're back on Monday. I don't know if we have a guest that day. I don't remember. I don't think we do. Anyway, Who knows? But we're having a good time.
Maybe the official ball of North Korea shows up. You know what I mean? Anything can happen. Anything can happen on the show.
Who's gonna show up?
You never know who comes with that door.
We got to be like, damn, we got some weird people have our number.
Yo, too many people know the location.
we got to be careful who we give our number to. All right. Have a good time, everybody. Enjoy your footy weekend, and we'll see you on Monday.
And if your name is Declan Rice, I love you.